So for more on this, let's bring in Tong Jian-chun, Director of the Center for Arms Control at the China Institute of International Studies. It's good to have you with us on Global Watch this weekend here. So I want to first get your reaction to all this. France says it's been stabbed in the back. Do you think this rift is going to last between France and the U.S.?
Yeah, it's really a deep hurt in the back of France. France has been a very important partner for the United States. A month ago, France also sent a task force to Asia-Pacific region to enhance the so-called cooperation with the United States to compete with China. And it's a deal of geopolitics. The United States would like to give more advantages to Australia, to enhance such a cooperation to confront China, and Australia, of course, is willing to do so. So this is a geopolitical deal, and also it's a commercial deal. A lot of money, according to Australian reports, the total amount of such a deal will reach 90 billion Australian dollars. So this is a big deal. I'm sure the United States would like to have it. So this is a very important deal for the United States, but it is a real deep hurt in the back of France.
And this is also very sophisticated technology we're talking about here. These nuclear-powered submarines, not a whole lot of countries have them. They're powered by nuclear reactors, but Australia has been very clear they will not carry nuclear weapons. Yet China is saying this is a sheer act of nuclear proliferation.
Yeah.
Why?
You're right. According to NPT, which came into force in 1970, nuclear weapon states should not give the nuclear technology to non-nuclear weapon states, and the non-nuclear weapon states should not acquire such capability. I mean, military use of nuclear technology, because nuclear,
even if it's used for power, not for weapons.
Yeah, it's a military use. This is actually a very specific category in the treaty, and of course all the member states, NPT, have the right to have a peaceful use of nuclear energy. This time, this is actually a military use of the nuclear reactor in the submarine, and also it's a violation of Australian law. For decades, Australian and some other regional countries would like to establish the nuclear-free zone, and we see the Prime Minister of New Zealand gave a quick response to such a deal, and she said that New Zealand would not allow any nuclear-powered submarine enter some water territory of New Zealand, or even in the harbor of New Zealand. So this is actually a violation not only of the new NPT and some other international non-proliferation regime or mechanism. This is also a violation of the law of Australia.
And as you mentioned earlier, a motivating factor in this is China. So what do you think Beijing will say, or how do you think Beijing may respond to this?
Yeah, first we should stand with the international community. I mean, we should abide by the international law, including the non-proliferation treaty, as we discussed just now. And the second, we should keep close attention to the development of such a deal, because if Australia get such a capability, I'm sure the ambitious leaders of Australia will give some, progress or aggressive policy in its defense policy. I mean, we'll send such a task force in the South China Sea or in Eastern China Sea, or we're more willing to intervene the domestic affairs of China. So this is actually a deal related to the security and stability in this region.
So do you feel like
we should keep a close eye on these developments?
So you feel like this submarine development is such a big deal that this could shift the power dynamics in the region?
Of course, that will give some capability. Australian Navy is a small one. Even Australia is a nation we're surrounded by seas, and this time if Australia acquires such a capability, I'm sure the ambitious leader would like to be more active or aggressive in the regional affairs, especially in Asia-Pacific region affairs. That one part of the so-called strategic competition of the United States. And why the United States gives such a technology to Australia is a little bit tricky. It just gave Australia, you can go forward. You as a as a frontline country to compete with China.
And obviously there's fallout not just in Beijing, but also Paris as well. So Tong Jian Chun with the China Institute of International Studies, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.